Oh, you want to do the clap thing too, right? Was I supposed to clap too? But then I don't look as cool if I don't clap.
I don't think you'll have to worry about that.
Is the clap going to be cut out, or are you going to leave it in?
The clap's going to be cut out. Oh, it might be left in now.
What if, we in the middle of the fucking podcast, I'll just go, for no reason, you'll be like, motherfucker, reset everything. Yeah, let's fucking as loud as I can right in front of the mic.
No, that's the Godot impression.
That's what I'll start talking to that mic. All right, so welcome everybody to episode 25, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of Because Movies. I've got my...
Oh, toothpaste.
What? Toothpaste? Talking about toothpaste.
I brushed my teeth before I came.
So now all you did, you're supposed to spit out all the toothpaste,
and
right?
chew. Well, yes, I know that. But after you drink, Okay, when normal people brush their teeth and they drink something after, it tastes weird.
Rubbing acetone and spit it out.
There's people who brush their teeth and just always taste that with their food because they'll brush their teeth right before eating.
Well, I don't
what?
get so for me, and it's funny, apparently I'm unique in this way according to the dental hygienist. I usually brush my teeth in the shower. So I'll brush my teeth in the shower.
Shampoo?
Yeah, exactly, right? Just get it all done. But then I'll just kind of I'll just kind of spit everything out, but I don't rinse my mouth out. You know what I mean? Like I don't water and spit. I don't do that. I just kind of not that. But spit out all the toothpaste and that's it. And she said,
yeah,
that fucks a lot of people over and it ruins the effects of the fluoride actually in your mouth. You're supposed to leave it in your mouth. But then there's some people that I know, I used to go to a summer camp when I was really young. And it was like a Christian camp that a friend of mine got me into for free because he knew the owner, some bullshit. But the point is, they wanted you to brush your teeth for a full 2 minutes, but then don't spit anything out. Like basically go to sleep with a mouthful of toothpaste, and that was weird.
At Christian camp, they like you to swallow. So.
Right? As I got older,
wait,
I was
that
like,
Catholic?
Man.
Sorry,
I was
Catholic.
like, oh my god, maybe it's not a joke. So yeah, so brush your teeth, everybody. See, we do give we could be PG. We do give public service announcements.
Right, yeah, right after I said that stuff about Christian camp. Sorry, I was thinking Catholic, but
They all suck the same way.
Yeah, so do we.
All right, so, episode
Welcome.
25.
How do you like being Because Movies?
I like it better because it's a
Movies.
good way, it's a good way to answer. It's a good way to answer shit. Yeah, because movies. And people are like, well, what's that mean? Just, you know what? You're not cool enough to get it. And then you can just be like all a hipster douchebag to people, and what can they do?
Well, all the critics of podcasts have been raving about our show.
We did get an email. It was probably automated, but
guaranteed that was automated.
We did get an email, so at least there's that.
Become part of our site by paying for it.
I was like, hey, yay! They made a demo site of us. Great. But whatever.
I like the part of the email where they say, we didn't send this to anyone else.
Right. Hello, possible customer. We did not send this to anyone else.
We just decided to do this just out of the blue to your one podcast that gets one viewer a day, if that. Yeah.
Maybe they saw how handsome we were and they know that we're going to go places.
They listened to the podcast.
No. Oh, yeah, I guess it came from. Well, whatever. All right, so
and to podcast episode 21 or something, Katla.
No, it was a lot. Was that what they referenced? The
yeah.
Katla one? I don't remember. All right, you have to plug our
so
socials.
They have no idea what they're getting involved in.
Any of them. I just want people to go to my
our
Grindr
socials,
page.
BecauseMoviesPodcast.com is the easiest way to find out all our links. Or search for Because Movies or Movies Because just about anywhere.
On Twitter.
Twitter is Movies Because, yeah.
Find us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and BuzzFeed.
And our email is confirmed to work.
What's the other one? Buzzsprout. And BecauseMoviesPodcast.com. And then you can email us too at BecauseMovies. What's the email again? I never remember.
You can make up anything.
Anything at Because Movies Podcast, right?
Yeah.
So be inventive. Be inventive like that automated machine that reached out to us. Be inventive like that. All right, honorable mentions, because I have a ton.
I've got none because we have so much to cover.
There was one thing that I actually wanted to bring it up last week and I forgot to, is Masters of the Universe, the Revelations. I am in the camp of Kevin Smith has slowly been going downhill for me ever since I think his best movie, Chasing Amy. So he made these 3 movies that were great. And then the 4th one, which was actually the very first movie he ever wrote, which was Dogma. Dogma kind of sucks. Because it's when he starting to believe the hype about himself. And I think I've said this 100 times over. Once someone starts believing the hype about themselves, they tank. This is why Bruce Willis is the way Bruce Willis is. Because they start believing, oh, you know what? I am as good as they say.
Are you telling me Kevin Smith made this new Masters of the Universe?
Isn't that you didn't know that?
I had no clue.
No
idea.
Oh yeah, he's executive producer.
Just like,
he wrote the majority
where
of it.
are you going?
Yeah,
with
sorry.
it?
Yeah, I thought you knew that.
I had no idea.
So it came out, and he was hyping the shit out of it, right, with Netflix, and he's a complete shill. That's how he's going to make money in this industry. So he's shilling messages everywhere. It's just like you remember when you were a kid. It's He-Man versus Skeletor and all these guys that you remember on blah, blah, blah.
I used to collect the figures.
But a buddy of mine, I have some in my office, the new series that they did, I think he says Wave 3 only came to Canada. So specifically even came to only Ontario. So
started there?
No. Wave 1 and 2 went all over the place.
Oh, okay.
Wave 3 went, I believe he said only to Ontario. And then Wave 4 only went to like Mexico or something. Yeah, it was weird. So he was like, oh my God, if you find these for me, send them over. So yeah, I found a few of them before, and we went to EB Games, and there was 3 of them lined up. So that's pretty neat.
Like
so
in their packaging and everything?
Yeah. And he was like, holy God, I don't have those 3. It was Faker.
Oh, you're talking the new...
Well, they're the original. They look like the original figures.
But they're not. Okay.
For
the re-releases.
Yep. So I bought those and sent them to him. But my whole point was Kevin Smith was touting this as, oh, it's just what you remember on blah, 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 and trying to feed the nostalgia vibe. And then it comes up and it starts. And of course, I'm going to spoil it for everyone because don't watch it. In the first show, He-Man dies. And Skeletor dies. And then you see them every now and then in flashback. And then in the 6th show, or 8th show, I can't remember how many of them were. They both come back, and Skeletor stabs them, and they both die. You're like, Jesus Christ! They were in the show for maybe collectively. I'm gonna argue. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say 20 minutes collectively over the entire series.
All of this happens in the first season.
First season,
yeah.
And also it's. And I hate using this term because I sound like a dipshit douchebag, but it's woke culture. I hate woke culture. I like the idea of somebody taking woke culture and making something like good with it. You know what I mean? Like making something like I saw stuff like Bend It Like Beckham and stuff like that, kind of countering racism, countering sexism. It's cool when you have a movie that shows that girls can do exactly what guys can do, blacks can do exactly what whites can do. Having a movie like Moonlight where it's about a black homosexual guy who's struggling with his sexuality.
Yeah,
that to me is a good movie. You know what I mean? Because the fact that he was black was important, but not shoved in your face and shoved down your fucking throat. In this thing, Tila's got to come to terms with her dad. And she's got to come to terms that, maybe she was lied to a bit and she feels bad about, shut the fuck up. What the fuck kind of show is this? I don't care about this.
Overwoke.
It was stupid.
Okay.
I
I agree. Like when it's woke, yes, it's great. There's a point where woke means something, and then you go over that, and you're trying to be overwoke or trying to be woke as fuck.
Woke as fuck. But it
just also comes off badly.
It was boring. That was the worst offense for me. It was boring. It's a 28-minute cartoon that's a commercial for toys, which is what all cartoons were when we were kids, and it's fucking boring. I'm like, come on. There's a part where they're fucking sailing on a goddamn ocean for 10 minutes just talking about, yeah, Skeletor was great. I kind of miss Skeletor. Yeah, Adam was good. Fuck that. It's a cart. Do something. And then Merman, or Mermon, or whatever the fuck his name is, jumps out of the fucking water. And he's like, I am Merman. I will stop you. They're like, no, you won't, Merman. Fuck you. Oh, I'm defeated. It was
Poor Merman.
It was stupid. And I felt the same as a whole bunch of other people are bringing up. Kevin Smith lied. He totally fucking bamboozled people. This was not a He-Man story. It was a Tila story, which is fine, but fucking say that.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, you know what? And you can sell it in a good way. You can say, hey, you know what? We're going to try some new stuff. It's all the guys that you remember. It's the animation style that you remember. We're going to try some different stuff that I hope you like. That is 100% truth. But to say, it's going to be just like you remember. You're going to be back at home when you were 8 years old. It's like, you fucking liar.
But if you go back, I don't know. I don't remember because I was so young. But if you go back to the original He-Man, I don't know what it was. It called Masters of the Universe?
I think it was called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, which is why his bullshit argument was this one was called Masters of the Universe. It wasn't called He-Man and the Masters
Just wondering
of the Universe.
if it's a case of what we remember or whatever, because it's like...
I remember He-Man being He-Man.
Okay, then that's great.
But
then your argument
my argument, though, is I see where the internet nerds who are upset about it, I see where they're coming from. Like, especially the ones who are like, there's no He-Man. I get it. I agree. But my bigger problem with it was boring. Like, dude, how do you make a story about fucking He-Man and the Land of Eternia, and they talk about pre-Turnia and post-Turnia, and fuck off. It was boring.
I feel the exact same about the new Transformers.
The movies?
The new animated ones, like on Netflix.
Oh, don't watch them.
The War for whatever.
War for Cybertron?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and they go through like they're on their third or fourth season now, and it goes through like now they're getting into the Beast Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Which is I love Beast Wars back in the past, so I'm looking forward to watching that part. It's a good series, but same issue, very boring in parts.
Yeah, especially for like I think it was like 6 shows for that He-Man thing. Dude, like you got 6 shows.
I think they're just filling time. Like were they hour shows?
No, 28 minutes.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was boring. But and I was glad to hear. Not glad to hear is the wrong way to say it, but felt justified to hear that today it dropped out of the top 10. And they said that, if a show comes out and it's supposed to be a big fucking tentpole launch, they want it to stay in the top 10 for sometimes up to a couple months. And this went out of the top 10 within like 2 weeks of being released. So they said it's a bad sign of things to come.
They specifically count the amount of views within a certain period of time.
Yeah.
And it's only the first little bit of time that it's on Netflix. Yeah. So it's dependent on that.
But yeah, short answer, don't watch it. It sucked. Even if I'm not nostalgic
unless you're a
He-Man,
super fan.
I don't give a shit about He-Man. I just want the story to be good. I know Kevin Smith was tied to it. He can write good fucking stories. He didn't in this one.
I think he's lost his mojo.
I think he believes the fucking hype. He thinks he is as great as he at one time almost was. You know, like when you look at the Kevin Smith who wrote Clerks and Mallrats and Chasing Amy, he's a good writer, man, because he's trying, you know?
I think the key is we take away all his money. Like he's got a good amount of money going for him right now.
Yep.
Better than we do. And
way.
Take away all his money, we might get the old Kevin Smith back.
You might. Yep. But I don't like this Kevin Smith that shills for IMDb. It's just that's not the guy that I remember watching in Clerks and going, that guy's fucking awesome. The other thing I watched, finally got around to it. It's been around for a while. It's not very good. I'm a huge Trailer Park Boys fan. I love the Trailer Park
What
Boys.
a surprise.
Right? And Rob Wells, one of the only few people named Rob that spells his name with 2 B's like I do. Rob Wells, if you don't know, is the guy that plays Ricky. But yeah, I watched Trailer Park Boys Jail.
How about Rob Lowe?
No, he does 1 B.
I have no idea.
For fuck's sakes. Now you got me thinking about Rob Lowe. Lowe. Now I did lose my train of thought. Oh, yeah, Trailer Park Boys Jail. Not very good. Kind of this typical fucking Trailer Park Boys shit.
Money Shell.
Yeah, it felt a little soulless.
If they let it go for a little bit longer, they could easily do like a theater movie. Like
They've done 2 movies.
Oh, okay.
They've done 2 fucking might be actually 3 movies.
This is how much I follow them.
Right? No, I think it's time to put the Trailer Park Boys to rest.
Do you remember when like Trailer Park Boys got popular, and then after that, they started getting popular in the U.S. and people were all like talking about Trailer Park Boys, and we were like, we know, like we've been there.
Dude, I work with All Americans, so they were like, "Oh my god,
like
is
Hulk
Trailer Park
Hogan?
Boys real?"
All American.
And I was like, "Oh fuck." I'm not even going to talk about Hulk Hogan, especially with Buddy Mine. Let's just say that him and you would get along famously with both your wrestling adoration, we'll say.
Yep.
But yeah, so everything I watched, and it's fucking, I'm having a ball watching it, was finally got around to watching The Bad Batch, the Clone Wars thing.
Yes. It looks okay. I watched half of the first
It's
episode.
long. It's like a movie, the first one.
Exactly. Watched half of the first episode and I thought, this is good. But I'm not a Star Wars fan. So I'm just like, eh.
You're kind of like, who are these guys? You don't have the emotional kind of attachment.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. Haven't finished it, but yeah, been really enjoying it. Everybody had recommended to me to watch it, and of course I wanted to watch it because I was a big Star Wars geek. But yeah, I've been enjoying it.
It's more along the lines of that. What was the Clone Wars and?
Well, it's from Clone and Rebels, but yeah, the Bad Batch is from the Clone Wars because there are clones out that were, what do they call them again? They like fucked them up when they were cloning them. They have irregularities or something.
I like that they're all canon.
Yeah, and Rex is canon. There was I like that. So there was a guy named Timothy Zahn who wrote the Heir to the Empire series, which is not canon, and that's relatively everyone's favorite Star Wars extended universe book, right? This trilogy of books, and in that book he introduced Admiral Thrawn. And everyone was like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, it's fine. You don't want to make Mara Jade canon. Mara Jade was Luke Skywalker's wife. That's fine. You don't want to make, what are the names? Jason and something, the twins that Han Solo and Princess Leia had. Fine. We'll get this Kylo Ren. But Admiral Thrawn is such a badass. It sucks to leave him out. And then they brought him in Rebels, which means that he was canon. So everybody, including myself, got fucking super psyched for that. Admiral Thrawn's a blue guy.
Am I wrong? Or is he rumored to be in the, if I can get the name right, is it Ashoka series?
Ahsoka Tano, yeah.
Because she was in the last of the Mandalorian.
He was
right?
mentioned, in the Mandalorian. So a lot of people think he's going to be in Ahsoka. Yeah.
Okay.
Which would be great because I heard casting rumors that the guy that played Aladdin in the live action Aladdin, he's going to play Ezra Bridger, who is the main character of that show Rebels. And the guy that voiced Admiral Thrawn is actually going to play Admiral Thrawn, which will be awesome.
Okay, yeah, a new contender in the acting field.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm looking forward to it because Admiral Thrawn. Even when you read that original book, it's a great book. When you watched Admiral Thrawn Rebels, Timothy Zahn wrote 2 follow-up novels of Admiral Thrawn. They're great, so I'm very much looking forward to it. But yeah, my whole point was I enjoyed the Bad Batch. My I guess girlfriend wanted, I was going to say other wife, but that's going to confuse people. Girlfriend will probably be even more confusing when you know I'm married, but she wanted a show to be able to watch. So I said, fucking finally sit down and watch The Mandalorian. Yeah. So yeah, we've been sitting down and watching The Mandalorian.
It's a treat, especially in 4K.
It's such a good show.
You
know?
Yeah.
Like even rewatching it, I forgot.
It's a movie.
But I forgot how, like one of the great things I loved about WALL-E, the very first time I saw WALL-E was, I remember watching the theater. Because grown people went to go to Pixar movies. And I turned to my wife and I'm like, dude, it's been like 45 minutes. No one's talked. There's been no talking. And these fucking children that are watching it are enraptured, right? And there's so many parts of Mandalorian where they don't talk for like 10 minutes. Like there's just action going. And it's not like fucking crazy action, but it's like gunslinger action where he's walking. He's got the child beside him and he's looking around because he hears something. Then there's a big fight and you realize, oh shit, my fucking Razor Crest ship is destroyed, so I'm gonna have to go talk to Keel. Like, and all that said without any dialogue. It's amazing how when you have good directors and writers and actors, how you can make a scene with no dialogue and you can watch it and you can fucking be interested.
I love how they have different directors during this series and how they made the show all together. So that's what I suggest is like, unless she's seen it already, the behind the scenes thing.
I watched that one, on The Mandalorian with the LED screens.
Yeah, my wife just saw how they did it, and I don't know if she watched that episode or not, but she was just like, did you know, or something? I'm like, yeah. It's like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
And it's cool, I was watching that scene that they're talking about, that episode that they're talking about where he's walking with the rocks, and they're showing the LED screens coming up, and I'm watching, and I'm like, there is no way you can tell. You cannot fucking tell at all that he's, that stuff behind him. You might think green screen, but you'd never think LED screen on the stage right then and there.
Well, the reason why it works so well is because you have the screens projecting the light, and that gives the artists that do the CG something to work off of.
And yeah, it makes it very believable to the actor. So even when the actor, like they're they're interacting with the light. It doesn't have to be drawn on afterwards. With another thing I like too a lot is they don't. So episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, they spent millions of dollars, and I believe they did it with the new ones too, erasing the camera from being reflected in C-3PO. With this one, they do not care. You can see that camera right on the fucking Mandalorian's head when they're close up to him.
Really?
Yeah, and you'll like, especially when you see a movie because he's got the crest right in the middle. When you see a movie, you're like, camera, like that. You can see it.
Never noticed.
You never get distracted by it. You know, and it's proof positive that hey, if your story is good enough, people are gonna okay the fuck ups. Everybody loves Evil Dead 2, and everybody forgets that when you're watching them run around, you can see there's no fucking ceiling to the house. Everybody forgets all that shit because of how much fun the movie was.
Unlike Game of Thrones and the coffee cup scandal.
There was a coffee cup and I think a water bottle. Bran had a water bottle behind
I know
his,
there's another
his desk.
big one, but I don't know if it's Lord of the Rings.
I know remember Pirates of the Caribbean, you can see a grip dressed with a cowboy hat on.
Could be.
Behind Johnny Depp. That one was pretty funny.
Yeah, I know sometimes they get the grips in there, and I love it.
Yeah, I love fuck ups are the most fun to watch in movies, man. Especially when you catch one and you're like, oh my god, I never saw that before. And
like how many times do they see those scenes as they're going through it, and they just don't catch it, and that's just it's so awesome that they miss it.
Well, fuck. When it comes to Psycho, so Hitchcock, his wife was his editor, right? Hitchcock watched and fucking watched the scene of Marion Crane being killed in the shower. And I probably said this, brought this up before. But when so it's not a pause shot when she's she falls over in the bathtub and then the camera pulls back, and it was Janet Leigh just kind of sitting there like with her holding her eyes open, and Hitchcock said he watched that scene like 50 fucking times. He watched it. Other people watched it. He had everyone watched it to make sure it looked like she was dead. And right before they were about to ship it all out, as his wife was watching it, she was like, "No, you can see her about to breathe." And they're like, "No fucking way!" And it was his wife that caught it. He goes, "If she didn't catch that, it would have gone out. Somebody would have seen it, and the movie would have been a laughingstock. You never would have believed it." So I was.
How many times during movies and shows when people die do you focus on them just to see them like slightly move or breathe?
Okay, what was the worst kind of taking it out of the moment like that you've seen in the movie? Because
I can't remember. I just know that I it's like me and looking at extras in general.
Okay.
Like I'll just stare at the extras partying in a scene in the background.
Their feet tapping when there's no music. No, for me the worst. And I remember this just because I was in the theater watching it. And this girl did not even attempt to hold her breath. It's a great movie. I believe Clint Eastwood directed it.
There's your answer.
No, well, it's the movie Mystic River. It's a fantastic movie, but his daughter is dead. I think it's Sean Penn's daughter is dead. So they go and they see her in the mortuary, and they put the dress on her that she's going to wear because she's just in a sheet, right? The sheet on her, and so they put the dress on her. And then the camera holds on her while they're all talking, and she is very obviously breathing. Like I'm talking, her chest is up and down, and she's she's supposed to be like a teenager, so she's not a huge girl. She's a smaller, skinnier girl, but she is so very obviously breathing that you're
There's
like,
no excuse for that.
This takes me out of the. I know she's not dead now. It's like fucking Bradley Cooper and was it The Sniper with the fucking baby? That's another Clint Eastwood movie that's very obviously plastic.
That comes down, not the plastic baby, but the breathing thing comes down to them shooting certain takes of that and then having it in post and going, okay, the only take we can actually use is this one. I hope they don't notice.
No.
Guaranteed they weren't like, I don't notice a thing. I didn't notice it. Guaranteed they noticed.
If you squint hard, it looks like she's not breathing, but you have to squint really hard. The other thing I wanted to say is an honorable mention that wasn't very good, but it's fine. It was Jungle Cruise. Did you watch Jungle Cruise yet?
No, please don't spoil anything. I'm gonna watch it with my wife and my son. Is it okay for my son? Because she was like, we got to watch it with him.
Does he get freaked out? So
he doesn't really get freaked out.
Best thing to compare to is Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay. The dead men, the ghosts in Pirates
I was
of the Caribbean.
going to say something like a Jumanji.
No, the dead pirates in Pirates of the Caribbean. If he's scared of those, he will be scared of this.
Think so. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, but be ready that it's long and it's got some boring parts. But hey, you know what? It's fine.
It's Rock.
It's just you're watching it, you're like, whatever. And when they're explaining like the whole backstory, you're like, Who cares? Whatever. But it's fine.
Yeah, we're probably gonna watch it next week.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. But all right, that's it for me for honorable mentions. You have none.
No, I don't. I watched. Never mind.
Any more of Sexy Beasts?
No.
That was some shit.
Well, let's go straight into something you watched half of.
All right, The Vault. The Vault. So The Vault. I was glad to see the actor Freddie Highmore. I was glad to see him because he's great as Norman Bates in The Bates Motel. He's fucking fantastic. Both him and Vera Farmiga, who's usually bad in everything else, they're great in that movie. In that TV show. And you always forget that Freddie Highmore's British.
Yeah.
Because you always see him speaking with an American accent. So I was glad to see him. The only thing that when I'm watching anything with Freddie Highmore, especially now, is he's in that show, The Good Doctor.
Yeah.
And
good show.
Yeah, my wife loves The Good Doctor. I don't care for it. And not because I have anything against the show, but he's an autistic doctor.
Yeah.
And when you have an autistic child, you go in one of two ways. You're like, I don't give a shit about watching autism in movies. I don't care. Because every autistic person is all a little bit different, you know? And my wife, so what'll happen, the reason I bring it up is when someone knows you have an autistic kid and you're watching an autistic show, they're like, oh my God, is that what it's like? Is that what it's really like? Are they really like that? Is that what it's like? My wife loves answering that question. I fucking hate it. I hate when people, if you're genuinely curious, fine, but don't be like, oh my God, is it really like that? Oh my God, like, fuck off, So I don't watch the show for that reason. I heard he does a great job in it. It was great. My wife seems to love it, which is great. But I was glad to see Freddie Highmore not doing that, but that was constantly in the back of my mind while I was watching it.
While watching it, I was like, is he a little bit autistic in general?
The Freddie Highmore himself?
Yeah, because I was like, he's kind of acting like the same way he does in the show, and maybe it's just his acting style.
Yeah, maybe that's just who he is.
But
because he's similar to that, and it's Norman Bates too, right?
I haven't seen Bates.
It's a good show. You should watch it.
But I that was my first thing that came to mind. I was like, oh, he acts pretty similar.
Well, he's supposed to be a genius in this too, right?
And there's a fine line there, right? Like autism, genius, like some of it comes together, like so.
Yeah, I just and you know what? And so as Phil said, I watched about an hour and 10 minutes of it. I watched it on my lunch break, and then I got so busy in the afternoon I forgot to go back to it. What I watched of it, it was enjoyable. It was a kind of typical heist movie. It takes way too long to get started, in my opinion. It kind of plotted. It said, "Hey, here's what we're looking for," and then drag until you meet him.
It's a little slow, yeah.
Like, come on, dude. Like speed this up. We know where you're going. Just fucking go there.
I noticed that they go and salvage some treasure, right? And they're doing it illegally.
Yeah, I have your note here.
And then complaining about it.
Yeah, you wrote down specifically, if you salvage without permission in a place where you need to get permission to salvage, you lose your find.
Yeah.
That's... And I love
and then you complain and cry about it. It's like...
Well, also, they're trying to win the audience over to be on the side of the guys that are trying to steal it. It's like, no. That's like, the best is the argument of Lex Luthor in that terrible Batman vs. Superman. He's like, we need a weapon to stop Superman if he goes crazy. Yes, I 100% support that. Oh my God, Lex Luthor's a bad guy. Why? What he said is fucking perfectly logical. It makes perfect fucking sense. It's the same reason that people hated, or were supposed to hate, Thanos. He's like, we're going to destroy the world unless we wipe out half of it. Like the
not the world, but even the
universe.
Universe, yeah.
Right?
Everything.
Totally makes sense. Sucks that you got to do it, but makes sense. And then they were like, the way they did it with Thanos made way, way, way more sense. But
no
the way they
proof that you have to do it, but we won't get into that.
Yeah, that's another review. But with I totally got where Lex Luthor was coming from. Totally get where Thanos was coming from. Totally got where this judge was coming from. He's like, you were on Spanish, water. Spanish-controlled waters. This was lost by Spanish people.
Exactly.
It's theirs. It doesn't matter if you found it. It belongs to them.
I wasn't sure if it was lost by Spanish people or if it was stolen by English people from the Spanish. I wasn't sure.
They're trying to bring that up later when he's talking to Freddie Highmore when they're at the bar. And he's like, so the guy's like, yeah, so basically he was a pirate. He goes, that's right. He was a pirate. So it doesn't belong to the Spanish. I'm like, if he was a Spanish pirate and it was lost in Spain, like, come on, your argument makes no sense.
He's really in the camp of finders keepers.
Right. So then, as far as I got, they go to the vault, they go to the place where the vault is. Freddie Highmore and the other guy are acting as janitors, and they're going around the whole thing. And then Freddie Highmore discovers that there's a whole bunch of water underneath where the vault is.
Yeah.
And that was where I had to pause it, so I didn't watch anything past that.
Yep.
Why don't you spoil the rest for our viewers?
You should watch it, honestly. It's good. I really enjoyed this movie. I'm glad it wasn't like over the top Hollywood or
explosions.
And this movie was made in Spain, and it was made by the Spanish, whatever. Like you could see it in all the openings. It was done there. It was called something else. I forgot what it was called, and then it brought here and called The Vault.
Well, there were so many scenes when they're like outside. It's like when you watch Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where they're outside and you're like, I don't know if that's a green screen or a matte painting, but Jesus Christ, like Spain is a beautiful fucking city, or wherever they were filming. I know Spain is not a city, but you know what I mean? Like wherever they were filming, it was gorgeous, man. Like the architecture. And there were so many times where I was like, is that CG in the background?
But they stuck to like one area of Spain, like just maybe the one thing around that bank or museum, whatever it is.
We have a sidewalk in the building that we can film in.
And the park that's right next to it that people are going crazy about the World Cup.
You're right. That was, you know what? And I'm willing to bet that they probably filmed all those scenes, like when the World Cup was going on. Like, that's a whole shoot the rodeo moment, right? Like, oh shit, this is going on right now. Go and film it.
Yeah. So, like, it's pretty much more of what you've seen.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. It's not over the top, like, holy crap. But it's like, if you like heist movies in general, you'll like this one. I know that people who like heist movies are hit or miss about like Fast and Furious, even though it is a heist movie. God. But it's Hollywood and it's
garbage.
Family. But this is a really good heist movie. So just go watch it. I'm not going to ruin it. I want people to watch it. Since you didn't watch the whole thing, why ruin it?
It'll pop up on my Netflix.
It's worth it. You watch it or you watch?
I only got like fucking 30 minutes left of it. Might as well finish it.
Finish it.
I wouldn't say it wasn't bad by it. It was a fine way to pass.
Good acting.
2 hours. Yep. It was. There was nothing about it that stood out and said this is terrible.
Highmore speaks English, and French, Spanish, and Arabic. I think it is
in the movie.
No, just in general.
Oh, yeah, he'll have conversations with himself in different languages.
He does, and that'll probably come up in another movie later on.
Right, where he's an autistic translator.
He's very talented. I like the girl that was in it. She's very talented.
I don't remember.
She seems. Okay, she seems very like boring at times, but
she seems
you can see talent through it.
She seemed, and sometimes very, and I don't know if this was kind of her actor's choice, but very irritated to be there. Especially the one thing that stood out is I didn't know if it was bad acting or just the choices she was making, but they're in the car and the guy's like, so what? Oh, Madrid, that's where they were. What brings you to Madrid? And he's like, Freddie Highmore's just kind of looking at her like, what do you say? She goes, honeymoon, just like that to him. And it was almost like that's the take that you guys went with, her just kind of going honeymoon, but she's saying it like, I don't want to answer this question. And there's a couple of other scenes where you see her like, yeah, okay, this is the guy you talked to, and she seems irritated to be delivering the line.
I think the general idea was at that point it was just some guy brought in and he would fail like anyone else brought in before. I'm sure there's been history.
Yeah.
And this was just another one of the boss's ideas.
It just caught me off guard to see this girl just kind of disinterested. But then, as you learn about the character, she was disinterested in him because she thinks he's going to fucking get lost. And then he gets into her vault.
So I gave it a thumbs up on Netflix.
Thumbs up her vault.
Yes.
All right. So we were talking about a good movie. Let's quickly talk about a shit movie that we're not going to watch the rest of it, and then save Fast and Sexiest. Sexiest.
I have no idea what you're saying anymore.
I have a stroke. Let's talk about Fear Street.
Oh my goodness.
So this was my choice because I had heard, and again, this is my own fault, trusting people who are like, you might like Fear Street. It's a scary movie. Scary movies the scary movies, especially from Netflix, and that's no fucking trying to throw shade on Netflix, but for a movie to be really scary, or even like have a creepy idea, you know what I mean? Like something that sticks in your brain. They're one in a million, man. It's a fucking flash of lightning in a clear blue sky. The last truly disturbing movie that I can remember was The Following. The Following is a fantastically original, creepy idea. It's where effectively if you have sex or someone who has sex with someone and then a being starts to follow that person and then what?
I'm just picturing it in
Oh,
my
I
head.
thought you were looking at a bug or something flying around.
Then I'm a good actor.
Right? Yeah, I thought there was a bug.
Oh.
A CG bug. Be sure to put in a CG bug. Here. Oh my God, it's a spider. Put in a CG spider.
I'd just rather not and just have you react to nothing.
Ah.
It'll be a picture of yourself.
It'll be a picture of me doing this like Thriller.
No, this is the perfect time to put you as a cat. Because I have that picture. Halloween.
What was that?
You were like a black cat, like in a leotard or something.
I don't remember it all.
Oh, you're going to see it in this episode.
All the stupid shit that I do, and I totally forget about the next day.
This is what I have to do while editing. I have to find pictures of Rob going back years and surprise him on what I'm going to use in the thumbnails.
Rob X. I'm going to go over. There's going to be folders on the desktop. Rob X, Rob XX, Rob XXX.
I found those ones.
Right, those are the ones on my OnlyFans. Yeah. So, and the following. So what happens is like someone you have sex with. It's almost like you pass it off to them, and then whatever this following thing is, it starts to follow them, and if it catches up with them, it kills them, and then it goes to the last person they had sex with. So you have to keep on having sex and being like, I'm sorry, and then it chases after that person. The way the director did it, it's a wonderfully creepy idea, and the way it works on the movie it's really good. But there's no more movies like that, or if there are, they're one in a million. You know, everybody was going on to me about like Hereditary. Watch Hereditary. Fucking loved Hereditary.
That was not scary,
but
creepy.
Yeah. And like Babadook and all these movies, like they're so good at being creepy.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hereditary was the last one, but yeah, that's more super creepy than
I watched Hereditary.
Scary.
I was like, fuck, I want to follow this guy. This guy's great. Because then there was Robert Eggers who made The Witch. Then he made The Lighthouse, and I was like, fuck, I love Robert Eggers. He's great. But the guy that made Hereditary, then he goes and makes Midsommar, and I'm like, dude, Midsommar fucking sucks. There was so much hype for it. And I went to it was one of the first movies I saw in the screening room. And it was funny. I there's a part near the ending where I'm like, okay, now she sits down to contemplate. And there was a whole bunch of like fucking 20-something kids beside me. And there was a girl beside me who I think she was kind of the film nerd of her group of friends because they're all babbling and making fun of the movie and shit. And she's kind of watching the movie thinking, and I go, okay, sit and contemplate. And I just kind of was talking to myself. I don't talk out loud, but I'm sitting contemplate.
I can just see you in the movie there and people getting so pissed.
But then she
hey,
does it
Siri.
again. Hey, Siri, fucking kill this guy.
Godot said,
sit and contemplate. But so the reason I bring it up is I was going like, yeah, okay, sit and contemplate.
Yeah.
Sit and contemplate. Like all these different scenes where I knew she was going to do it. And this girl looked over at me and then she looked at it and she's like, huh. And you saw her like that click in her brain like, yeah, this is kind of fucking repetitive, isn't it? And it's not a good movie. So I hope his next one is more along the lines of Hereditary. But my point is, Fear Street was not scary. In fact, Fear Street was a piece of shit.
So let me just say that if you can go back and watch Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps as an adult and are scared of that, then this is the movie for you.
But imagine that with more swearing and blood.
And drug use.
And drug use.
Fucking hell.
I don't know if you want to call it drug use are cool druggy people cool until they're not, and you can
exactly. You've been reading my notes.
No, because
it's there.
Yeah, totally agreed with that one thing. Well, and what's funny is, so the movie's pointless. It has one great death. I will give it that. When they put that girl's fucking head through the meat cutter thing, that was great.
I was surprised that they were actually going there.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason. What is it, an R rating?
Yeah. Well, it must be with something like that.
That's
You're not
the
gonna have that in a
only
PG.
reason. There's nothing. I'm sure there's other stuff, but
it has so. You know what? It has so much fucking pointless swearing. It's like, what about this, bitch? What about this? Fuck. Like,
okay.
Shut up,
Rob. A teenager wrote this.
Literally,
I bet.
Because then give this to this should be your first clue. When she carries a shoebox of garbage to school for some reason, because I know all kids carry shoeboxes, and she says to her friend, "Give this to Sam." As soon as you hear Sam or Leslie or Trey, you're like, oh, okay, it's going to be a bait and switch thing, right? It's going to be, you're supposed to, you think it's a guy, it's going to be a girl. So you know that right away. And then... I
didn't catch on right away.
God. As soon as she said
I was like, they went there. Okay, cool.
No, I was like, she's the outcast girl. I thought what was going to happen was the two druggies, I think they're brother and sister. I thought they were going to do... like their creepy PDA makeout people all the time.
When did they put out there that they were brother and sister? At what point?
I thought when they're talking in the
living
bathroom.
room.
No, when she meets him in the bathroom, and then in the very start,
I know what you're talking about. With the writing on the wall. Yeah.
That's when she passes to I kept on calling her nostril girl because the drug addict girl's huge nostrils, and I could not take my fucking eyes off them. But she's like, "Here, give this to Sam." And I'm thinking, why the fuck don't you give it to Sam? You brought a shoebox worth of shit. Don't give it to your fucking friend. Go give it to her.
It's a common thing. When you break up with someone, you'd rather someone else give them their stuff
burn
back.
all their shit. Fuck giving it back.
That's what I agree with. That's what I was thinking when
I would give her a shoebox with a bomb in it.
During the movie,
that would have been a better.
I was like,
movie.
why are you giving it back?
C4 Street.
Keep the stuff you like. Burn the rest.
Or put it on social media and fucking blackmail.
Sell it.
But then when they show it, they're showing the guy and he's grabbing the girl's ass, and the girl looks back. And I'm like, oh. Okay.
There's no social media then. Wasn't this 1994 or something?
So, I just want to go over some of the logic choices of these characters in this movie.
Why? The whole thing is bad logic.
My favorite at the end of it is like, okay, to get the witch to stop chasing us, you need to die. And then it changes from your heart needs to stop. And then it changes from her heart needs to stop till she needs to die. And I was like, okay, that's technically yes, they're similar, or one kind of goes hand in hand with the other one. But it was when they started specifically saying, when they started with your heart needs to stop till you need to die. I'm like, okay, well, why are we changing now? Because drug brother drugs. He has a handful of drugs and says, take all these drugs and your heart will stop.
No, see, he's thinking of ODing.
Right, because his brother...
Not himself.
Yeah, because his brother OD'd, became
okay,
back.
This whole concept, the whole payoff of the whole thing, during the whole movie, I'm going to say whole like 15 times. This is one of those things where it's like, here's the concept. Here's the concept. Oh, drugs. Drugs are cool. Drugs are always the solution. And then...
Except when they're bad.
Nope,
but
still...
then awesome people sell drugs.
Exactly. There was no turnaround of... Maybe I'm doing a bad thing by selling drugs. Oh, maybe... No, his brother OD'd. I'm still selling drugs. But nothing happened. He doesn't have an issue with it.
He came back. You're like, yeah, he doesn't have any problem with drugs.
And, okay, but my biggest problem is, and I'm going to spoil it, so come back to us when she watched it. Okay, now I'm going to spoil it.
Pause it and then go watch it.
They're like, as Rob was saying, they're like, okay, take these drugs and then take these ones and then take these ones and then you'll OD properly. Because probably this is the way his brother did it. And then she starts doing this.
Which you knew was going to happen.
Gets interrupted. The rest of the pills go flying and we just drop that whole thing altogether.
Fuck it.
Nothing.
But what I like was... exactly what you were saying. Like, A movie doesn't need to say drugs are bad, right? A movie doesn't need to say drugs are cool. Doesn't need to say. We've all seen Train Spotting. We've all seen Fear and Loathing. We've all seen.
We're
fucking
over
Goodfellas.
this.
But what I liked was he was like, here's the drugs that you got to take, and then and you're like, oh yeah, okay, we get it.
Yeah, it's like a heist scene where they're planning things.
Where they're planning, and they're take this up or this down. So
I know we're fathers. I get that we're looking down on this and being like, oh, that's not cool, drugs. Okay. But it really isn't cool. This movie is for teenagers.
And it's trying hard to be for teenagers.
And it's saying drugs are cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I missed anything by this. Drugs are cool by two of the main characters the whole time.
But in my opinion, it's going, hey, kid. Remember fucking, was it Steve Buscemi in 30 Rock where he's like, hey, fellow kids, and he's wearing the shirt that says fucking rock band? It was that. It's like some fucking 60-year-old guy. Netflix said, hey, or it's based on an R.L. Stine book, right?
Yeah.
R.L. Stine's like the 60-year-old dude was like, what do kids want to do? Like, well, when I was a kid in the 40s, we all did drugs. So I'll pretend that kids want to still do hip drugs and be hip and be rapscallions. So the way they're trying to sell this
is
drug
1994, so it happened, right?
Right. The way they're selling drugs it's so stupid. It was like, if I was a kid and someone's going to be, dude, you know what's going to be radical, bodacious, bro? Take these uppers and downers and you OD radical to the max. And I'd be like, fuck off. Like, give me a break. I wasn't that stupid as a teenager. I refuse to believe that kids are this stupid. My point is,
in my high school, the druggies were quiet about it. Like, you knew that they were druggies.
Yeah.
But they weren't like going out there, hey, man, open the trench coat.
Radical to the max.
No, just
but why I'm bringing this part up and it's so stupid is she downs all these pills. Now, half an hour earlier, what's her name? Keela or Tila? Maybe I'm just thinking of He-Man. Kurla, whatever. The
main character.
Girlfriend. She steals a gun from the cop officer. His name's Officer Good. I kept on calling him Officer Good and Sexy. So she steals a gun from Officer Good and Sexy, or maybe Officer Good and Sexy's partner.
Yeah.
So she has a gun, and then they're like, "Man, we got to kill her. Stop her heart. What are we gonna do? Well, I know. Let's give her a bunch of pills." So they give her a bunch of pills. She vomits them up. You're like, yeah, your body's gonna want to vomit all that shit up.
That was the point of Succession, but
and you're like, hey, you have that gun?
No,
you could just shoot her.
No, the point is not to kill her. The point is to kill her and bring her back. If you just shoot her in the fucking heart, you're not gonna bring her back.
Then they're like, okay, so this is another good thing. So they try to feed her all these fucking drugs, and then you know what we'll do? We'll put pure adrenaline into her heart because they've seen Pulp Fiction. So they're like, we'll just stab her with this fucking needle, because Pulp Fiction, of course.
That'll bring her back.
That'll bring her back. So then she barfs up all the drugs. She can't eat them. So then, and I literally, in this one scene, this is how confused I was by this one scene. Tila, whatever her name is, looks over, Shira, looks over and sees a lobster tank with one lobster in it. And my stupid ass legit thought, like, maybe she's allergic to shellfish and she's going to feed her a raw lobster so she dies from anaphylactic shock. And then she can fucking adrenaline her heart. And then I'm like, oh no, she'll probably drown her. That makes a bit more sense.
I was hoping for an electric eel to happen to be in there,
For no reason.
Just something crazy.
But then, so she throws her into the water and she's holding her down. And at that point, I'm like, yeah, why not? All these fucking lights have been destroyed in her hand. Just throw a goddamn fucking cord in there and electrocute the shit out of her. But she waits for her to drown, and then pulls her out. She's like, all right, get the needle ready. And I was like, I've never drowned before. But I don't think that when you drown, a shot of adrenaline to your heart is going to bring you back to life.
Well, you know what the other issue is? They were like planning this whole pill situation. They had an ambulance.
Right?
It has a defibrillator.
Ambulance.
We went through this in another movie. Kids.
Right, yeah. I like that they put the fucking adrenaline into her heart. I'm like, have you kids never watched you never watched Baywatch? It's big in 1994. You're supposed to fucking do the CPR compressions. So they do it and she lives and who cares? And then at the end, she stabs someone else and some bullshit. I don't know. I didn't give a fuck. By the end of it, I could fucking care less. But
I was super surprised that you watched the whole thing.
I had friends where we were all making fun of it. But to your point, the two druggies get killed, right? In horrible, horrible deaths. This is the girl that gets her head. And then
after making out with someone who was younger than her, which isn't a bad thing,
that's right,
but it's like that surprised me. Like that was set up, obviously, but I didn't see that going there at the beginning of the movie.
Well, it was so
it's out of his reach.
But it was so weirdly awkward.
Yeah. You know what would have been smart? And I was like, why didn't they go there? And it didn't come back around. The person he was chatting to, I thought was going to be shown as this girl that was the druggie.
Oh, it's going to be saved for a future movie.
But maybe, because they're all connected.
It's a ghost.
I'm just like, that didn't come back. I
love this shit movie because that ghost in it.
That's not how that works.
So where I saw your point with the drug thing is everyone's like, yeah, those, and it's so stupid. Yeah, those druggies, those fucking junkies, they were the one that fucking killed her. And he's like, nope, they were my friends. They died for God.
This movie was so shallow.
It was so stupid.
It's made for teenagers by teenagers and was just like, or maybe a teenager from the 1994s.
See,
from 94, from the 90s.
I feel like it was a 60-year-old guy that was like, what are these young kids into? I got to make something that I can sell. It felt so shallow that it was, again, felt like a product being fucking sold to you.
Yeah, and they made 3 of them. The only way
they all cost like $9 to make.
The only way they got away with it was because they came to the table with 3 in mind, and it's not like they waited to see what happened.
But also, I'm assuming that it must be a well-known series. I've never fucking heard of it.
I never was into Goosebumps. R.L. Stein stuff.
Yeah, he must have because I knew what Goosebumps was. I've never read a Goosebumps, but I knew what Goosebumps was. That's why when you started watching, I'm like, it says based on a book. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know that.
Very popular for kids that were really into ordering from Scholastic.
Probably. Mom, the new fucking Fear Street came in. Oh, these bad drug kids are bad.
I don't know. That was like the successor to Babysitter's Club.
There was a lot of stuff I wanted to happen in the Babysitter's Club that didn't happen.
Yeah, especially the movie.
There was a movie, Babysitter's Club?
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet there's got to be a porn parody.
I think it's in the... Well, guaranteed. Anyway, it was bad. We're not watching the other 2.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe if we're really bored and want to throw popcorn at our TV.
No, I'll never watch the rest of these. But, that's not true. If I was lucky enough that if you gave me a choice, watch the rest of the Fear Streets or watch the next Fast and Furious, I'd absolutely not, in a heartbeat, watch fucking Fear Street.
I might have enjoyed this better if I went into it thinking, this is, thinking that it was going to be something to laugh at. Like it'll be like one of these movies.
Yeah, kind of
but Rob told me it was going to be super scary and that there's so many jump scares. And I'm sitting there for the intro, the epilogue, and I'm just like,
where's the jump scares? Where's the scary part? For it. And that's right. People have fucking told me that, it's scary, man.
You got to hit them.
Right? Motherfuckers. USA lied to me. But all right.
Thumbs down.
Yeah, thumbs down. I'm not going to go down Fear Street. I'd rather be on Elm Street.
I've never really cared.
You've never watched Nightmare on Elm Street?
All these.
Don't watch the remake. Watch the first one.
All these Elm Street and Jasons and I watched Jason X.
Oh,
I loved it because it was bad.
So stupid. Yeah, that was
I
stupid.
loved it.
I don't know. I was never afraid.
I think I watched Jason versus Freddy too.
Yeah, that was a Ronnie Yu movie. I never found Jason scary. I don't think anybody ever found Jason scary. But Jason's this big lumbering monster, and it's fun to watch him kill people.
Yeah.
But I didn't find Freddy, Freddy Krueger particularly scary, but the idea of Freddy, like the idea that this guy kills you in your dreams and that kills you in real life, that's super cool, man. I remember my sister and her friends talking about this movie because it came out in like 84. And I was like, dude, that's the fucking coolest idea. And then somehow, because I was both my parents, as they were divorcing and then finally divorced, neither of them was giving a shit what I was doing. So I was watching horror movies at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was watching this. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. I love the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, well, I just never had the interest of watching Where's Waldo's prosthetic using brother.
Loved it.
It was like, eh.
See, I was never. Well, no, there's not a lot of movies I won't watch. Well, that's not true. I won't watch movies like Fast and the Furious.
You are now.
Even from day one, I was like, God, these movies.
You got yourself into this.
Yeah, I shouldn't. You know what? I'm watching.
You shouldn't run your mouth. That's our whole show.
I'm watching this one, and I was like, yeah, I should have kept my mouth shut.
It's
for this
fun. We'll get into it, but it's fun.
Yeah,
I like them.
All right, so let's read your notes. No, let's read my notes first.
You just have simple.
No.
You have a full on?
Yes, I have a full on hard on. All right. So, Furious 6. The director of this movie knows that the target audience has such a short attention span that he has to recap the first 5 movies in the opening credits.
Oh, yeah.
You can recap 5 movies in the opening credits.
Good idea in general.
But that really goes to show you how much story was in your 5 movies.
Yeah.
To also, if anybody ever hates himself enough to watch a Richard Linklater movie, and they sit down to those absolutely abysmally bad Before Sunrise, After Sunrise, Before Sunset, they're these shit movies with Ethan Hawke that Richard Linklater made them all 7 years apart. If you watch the last one, I believe it's called After Sunset or Before Midnight. So I can't remember.
You just played with the terminology the whole time.
When you go to Wikipedia, the plot synopsis is 3 paragraphs. That shows you how much is in this like 2-hour movie. They're awful. But that's not what we're talking about right now. Does Dom Tortellini just go everywhere in the same wife beater? Because he always wears the same wife beater, no matter where he is. So he'll be in fucking Spain. He'll be in Paris. He'll be in the U.S. Always with the wife beater.
They're always clean, though.
It's true. I don't know how a guy that works on fucking cars all day has a clean wife beater.
You can pack a lot of wife beaters. Well, actually, we have to take the name back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Spouse
beater.
Tank top. No, it's really good for this tank tops.
Man, fucking tank. Who cares? All right. 1 week is not enough to decompress from this moronic machismo bravado and all of these stupid movies. So it's a good thing to typically have about 2 years between them, because the fucking
now a year
the macho-ness.
I think I don't know.
It was awful. Like it's like, man, I'm fucking hard, man. You hard, man? Fucking hard. Like, shut up. And then of course Gal Gadot's back, and I was like,
that's your audience.
I hate
casuals.
They need to stop trying to have plots in these movies. These scenes of Tortellini.
Oh, you're gonna hate
Brian
the rest.
Talking are excruciating.
I agree. It should be a lot less plot, even though so this is the movie where they specifically started to try making it more about not plot, about
the characters, I think.
Yeah, like having an arc, having a story, like a story going, linking all of them together more. Having yeah.
Well, Brian and his wife are playing with their baby, and he starts explaining the type of car that it is, and then Dom shows up and goes, Tortellini's getting American. It's like, Dom, he chose that car, and I'm like, holy fucking shit. This is terrible. This, like, it's one of those parts where you want to pull your eyes out of your head. It's so bad. It was excruciating. So I'm so glad that it was over fast. One thing I was not over fast, over eventually. There's a scene where Roman walks into the room where they're in the room and they're all talking about the next heist. Who cares? And he walks by the rock, and he says, "Why does this room smell like baby oil?" Are they insinuating the rock is covered in baby oil?
He's making a joke about the rock always being shiny.
Oh. I didn't.
Like it's one of those jokes where you're like, obviously you rub baby oil on yourself all day long because you want to be shiny all the time.
Is that a thing people do?
It's telling the person, oh, you're like showing off.
Okay.
It's actually a thing that wrestlers do anyway.
I legit thought that he was insinuating he was wearing baby oil. So I can tell that joke fucking fell flat on me. There's no way that Vin Diesel doesn't have some sort of brain damage. I wonder if the stress of trying as hard as he possibly could to look tougher than The Rock and failing is what messed him up.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was the bravado.
Yeah. There's nothing new that you can say about these movies. They all have the same plot. Super macho cool dudes race awesome cars. Insert some forgettable plot. Everything's tied up with a nice bow at the end.
You can't say they all have the same plot and then say insert forgettable plot.
They all have the same like they're very cookie cutter. You can have different cookies, but you can have different shaped cookies, but they're all from the same fucking batch of the same
somewhat story, heist, somewhat story.
Once a car race scene starts, I just start scrolling through Reddit until it ends. I know that everybody's going to survive, and if someone does die, they're just going to show up again in the next movie.
This is the problem with Rob's reviews, is that he should be paying attention more.
I don't. The attempted too much comedy with this one is bone-shatteringly bad. They have no problems with showing... Oh, yeah, shit. They have no problems with showing the stunt doubles that are very obviously not the actors. There have been several scenes during this lady fight between Cara Dune from The Mandalorian and when she was much skinnier and Letty. There's scenes where they're like whipping each other around and shit. It is very obviously not Michelle Rodriguez. Like they show full face on that stunt double and they don't care. Whatever. They don't even try to fucking... like CG her face the way they did with Paul Walker when he died later. No, it's fine.
It's a worse than the Jurassic Park calf with the girl.
Right? Yeah, when she but that was fucking what 1993, 94, yeah. And this is like fucking 5 years ago.
It's one of those things where they're just like, oh, well,
no one cares.
No one cares, and no one cares.
So this legit confused me, and I want to know if you can explain this. Dom and Letty were the best of boyfriends and girlfriend. And then Letty maybe got killed, but didn't. And now they're enemies. And they have to reintroduce themselves to each other by showing each other their different scars that they already knew they had when they were boyfriend and girlfriend.
He is proving that he knows her. She doesn't get that yet. Like, she doesn't realize how much, and she doesn't want to admit it and stuff like that. So he is going... I know this from this memory. I know this from this memory.
Did she forget? Did she get amnesia?
It's said in the movie, Rob.
I didn't pay attention.
Stop watching Reddit.
1.5 hours into this movie, and I have lost the same Plants vs. Zombies 2 board
let me
3 times in a row.
She crashed. She got amnesia. What's his name? Shaw grabs her from the hospital. Takes her under his wing to join his crew.
How does he know that she's a heist person? How does she remember how to do heists?
I don't. I think she was involved in a thing with Shaw, doing a certain.
That was.
She was undercover,
but that was set up in number
last
3. No,
last episode.
Number 4.
I thought it was last episode. Last season. Last. Movie. Jesus.
Like, what were you trying to say?
Didn't they say something where she was working with the FBI or so? No, Brian.
Reyes. She was working with that Reyes guy, that guy that was stealing.
Well, Brian was set her up in that role, and then something happened. She crashed, yep. And then I guess Shaw was part of that group, and he was
a lot of assumptions you're making.
How does she remember? That's not an assumption when the movie says that straight out.
How does she remember her name's Letty?
I don't know. I always call her Lettuce.
Oh, Lettuce. I did. Yeah. Okay. I missed that whole part, but I wasn't really paying attention.
Maybe it's said on her underwear.
So, this part. Okay. It would have been more fun if it was played more for camp. But there's a tank that starts taking off, going to the 100 miles per hour. So the 100 mile per hour tank, that's just obliterating cars. I'm like, okay. This would be fun if it was being played for jokes, but it's not. They're trying to be.
It was fun.
It was fun, but it could have been better.
They're making a cool action part, and they did.
Is still the pinnacle. Number 5 got it right. Number 6. No, this is number 6. Number 5 had the safe flying down the street.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And they treated it as stupid as it was. This one, the actors were trying to take this tank seriously, and I was like, "This is really."
Well, yeah,
stupid.
It's a tank going down the highway
at 100 miles per hour, just obliterating, never getting stopped.
I can't wait for you to review 9.
So
I really can't wait because I've watched it now, and I can't wait.
So then the tank battle, they get away. They find out Cara Dune's bad.
Cara Dune should not be talked about ever. She did something bad, and now she's out of Disney.
Yeah, she did. She said something racist or mean.
Wasn't anti-Semitic or something?
Was
like
it Semitic? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Racist and anti-Semitic are the
And
same
she's
thing.
a Republican.
Gross.
Ugh.
She
no room for Republicans in Disney.
I had a man. God, I made him watch Mandalorian because I like bigger girls, right?
I like her.
I like as Cara Dune,
not as a person.
As an actress, I don't know the type of person she is, but as Cara Dune, I love that character.
Yeah.
And I had feelings in my trousers for that character.
She's attractive. She was a American Gladiator back in the reboot.
She got, and I don't want to call it fat, but she got big. Like she put on it looks like a lot of weight, like a lot of weight, a lot of muscle mass. But it kind of looks like it might have turned to flat.
It was more muscle, and I think it's still muscle, but it just comes off bad because in movies there's still that.
She was skinnier though.
There's still that stigma in acting where you have to be a certain size, because the camera adds 10 pounds, and I agree. But then you see them in real life, and you're like, this happens for professional wrestling, where I see the wrestlers in real life, the female wrestlers, and I'm like, whoa, you're real thin. Like it doesn't look like it on television.
Yeah, she's not fat, but she's bigger than she was when you look at the earlier pictures of her.
Probably, yeah.
But then when you watch her in Mandalorian, and I'm not a UFC guy, so I'm never gonna watch that shit. But she's tough. You know what I mean? Like, and I was kind of just like, oh man, this girl could fucking crush my head between your legs. And
I think it's a matter of I'm an actor now.
I
only need to do the simple exactly. I don't know what she's gonna do now.
So that all happens, and then they kill Cara Dune, and this whole. So I'm legitimately like waiting for this to finish, and then
your favorite part of the movie,
thing in the world, in the fucking movie, literally happens.
I knew it.
Where Gal Gadot sees Han, and she's like, "Oh, I can't let Han get killed," so she lets go of his hand, throws her gun to her other hand, shoots wherever the bag is, and she like, bye,
dead.
And I was like, awesome. This movie, that was not a complete redeem.
No.
Fine. Like, if she comes back from that,
that's what I was going to say.
She's got to fucking come back like a scarred corpse.
I want to ruin your freaking. It hasn't come yet. But the fact that
do you think she would with all the money she's getting from Justice League now?
Obviously the fact that they killed her in the way she did, like if there's that rule in movies and TV. If you don't see the body, if it's not confirmed, and even after that, but even after that, what was the movie we want? No, we haven't watched it.
Oh, that one, yeah, it's my favorite one.
I wish I could remember what it was, but
the movie that time forgot.
There's a recent TV show or something where it was the one. Okay. The guys who made.
Are you gonna cut any of this out, or we're just gonna listen to this ramble?
The guy that's our podcast.
Well, Bruce Willis.
No, the guys that made Fringe made a newer one, and it didn't do well. And it's about alien pieces, salads crashing from onto the earth.
Oh, wasn't it debris?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. In that, one of the main actor's father dies. You see the corpse and everything. He comes back, and you're just like.
Whatever.
But okay, the rule is if you don't see the body, you don't see the death.
But then Han gets killed in the stinger scene, right?
Yeah.
So, not to mention, so I knew that Hobbs and Shaw existed, the Fast and Furious presents Hobbs Shaw. Yeah. So the whole movie, I'm like,
first of all, you asked me a question.
Oh shit! I forgot.
Sorry, I didn't get to it. It only took me half an hour.
Talking about salad
would they
from
bring her
space.
back after Wonder Woman 2? Bomb, like it did well, but it's a shit movie.
Yeah, it didn't get what it was supposed to.
And I think Fast and Furious would pay her enough.
Yeah.
If they brought in a storyline to have her come back, and it could happen in the next two movies.
God, I hope not, because the next movie,
2 movies.
Hopefully, no, but I mean like 8 and 9 that I still gotta.
Oh,
no, 7,
okay.
8, 9.
Yes.
I've got to watch those, and I'm happy that I'm not going to hear that fucking broken, demented accent of hers. Very happy about that. Also, then Dom walks out of the fire because family, I guess. He's just
family. That's a good
the T2. He's like fucking walking out of the flames.
Yes.
And then my whole point. Then there's a stinger scene where he's like, "Oi, oi, coming at you, John Toretto. Right?
Introduction of
Shaw,
who is played by
Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Who's awesome.
Which was a big reveal
But
during like when it came out.
Because I knew that there's a Hobbs and Shaw movie.
Yeah, it's not a big reveal.
I thought that Jason Statham was going to show up in the movie. So I was paying attention because I was like, okay, this is Shaw, obviously like his brother or like
That's what I was going to ask. Like, how confused were you when they were like Shaw and then this other guy's playing Shaw and you're
I
like,
was like, oh, he's going to come out.
They changed
it's
actors.
Gonna be a big reveal. Like, oh, I'm the masterminds behind it all. I'm like, where the fuck is Jason Statham in this fucking movie? And then, So yeah, then I see the story. I'm like, oh, here he fucking is. But The Rock doesn't go full Rock potential. Like The Rock's charisma in movies where he's the primary male actor, he's so much better. He's having so much more fun. This, I feel like he's getting paid a shit ton of money, and he's okay to play second fiddle because he's like, fine, like I'm still getting fucking paid, and I've got my other movies where I'm the main guy, but I feel like his charisma is less in this because he's not a number one.
I think there's that big Vin Diesel reason for it.
Also, you know what I found out? So I heard another show talking about F9. I didn't want to spoil it. I've avoided every podcast that I follow, so I don't get F9 spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about did you know that on these movies, specifically in the ones with The Rock, Jason Statham, and Vin Diesel, who's in all of them, but with Rock and Jason Statham, they have basically like accountants for each actor that tallies how many hits each of them take, and they have it written into their contract how many times Statham is allowed to punch X, like Rock, or how many times Statham is allowed to get punched by Rock, and what they get paid. That's built into their contract, and if they decide, oh, we need another fight scene, they get to ask and pretty much demand more money because of the amount of punches that each character takes. They have someone that counts the fucking punches that they make and get punched by for these stupid movies.
I've never heard this, and it sounds like someone just saying something to be funny.
It could, but with knowing
that sounds crazy.
Knowing the behind the scenes thing, yeah, I'll have to look it up. We'll have to bring it up in the next one to see if it's true, or maybe this person was just lying. But it sounds like something. Knowing how much of an asshole Vin Diesel is, it sounds like something that could be real. So I'd be very curious to see if it's real.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was more demure because The Rock comes off with a lot of charisma and overshadows people.
Yeah.
And I think Vin Diesel has been saying he said about The Rock that they had to like not school him, but like had to like
teach him how to act?
No.
I was going to say Vin Diesel had to teach him how to act.
It's kind of like putting him in his place. Like we watched over him, but it's like more like we had to show him where his place is. And he kind of made the same reference to John Cena in the new movie.
Oh, fuck.
And I'm like, this sounds like you have like a very protective, and I get it, protective cast. Like you guys are super protective of family in when it comes to the cast. I get that. But when a new person comes in, and I'm sure you don't want a community type of situation, but that's kind of different because it's not someone who came in. It was someone who's been there, where someone's an asshole the whole time. But I don't know if The Rock in person came off as an asshole when he came on set and everything, but he guaranteed overshadowed everyone.
But see, for me, my opinion is Vin Diesel knows this is a cash cow for him, and it's his cash cow.
Yeah,
you know, I have the sneaking suspicion that a guy like The Rock comes in. He's a very big guy, lots of charisma. Same Jason Statham, lots of charisma, wonderful, not an amazing actor, but just great at what he does. You put him in the right role, fantastic, right?
Well, The Rock, I don't know if he produced Hobbs and Shaw, but I know the successor will be produced by him.
Oh, really? Eh?
By his company.
But
which is interesting.
I have a sneaking suspicion that Vin Diesel was like, this is my cash cow. Don't even try to think that you're going to be someone that if you disappear, that's fine. I never disappear.
Yeah.
You know? He comes off like that in these movies because he's so indescribably bad in these movies. I can't figure out why he's the sex symbol. You see The Rock, you see Jason Statham, you see Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel has been a sex symbol since
I'll never get
all
it,
his
man.
movies.
You know, I'll never fucking understand. And I can understand when a guy's a good-looking guy, but everything about him sucks. He's clearly got brain damage.
Well, that's when some people say Angelina Jolie's super hot. I don't see it.
But Angelina Jolie can be
She's
sexy,
attractive, but she's not like super hot to me.
But I think she can be sexy, right?
Yes.
And there's actresses that are not, gorgeous looking, but they can be sexy.
Yes.
Or there's other ones that are just classically beautiful. Margot Robbie. Oh my goodness.
Jodie Foster.
The girl who played Lois Lane. Amy Adams. Very classically pretty women. And they can act like hell. They're fucking fantastic actresses, but
Gal Gadot.
But I feel like that's what it was with this. Is Vin Diesel was like, it's my cash cow.
It's ego.
Yeah, everyone's got to be beneath me. And I feel like the Rock is probably an easy enough person to work with. And there's going to be a lot of egos thrown around, great, but he's not going to be the type of guy, same as Statham, who's going to take a lot of shit like, dude, I get it. This is your cash cow. You don't need to fucking remind me about it every 5 minutes. Yeah. And I sure as fuck know that John Cena's not that type of guy. John Cena, the guy with the most Make-A-Wish fucking records in history.
Yes.
There's no way that he is that big of an asshole. Not a chance.
He comes off sometimes as an asshole just because he's so stiff.
Yeah, sometimes.
Not in your way of thinking stiff. But just like
I'd see a stiff John Cena.
Anyway, yeah,
not invisible. If you know what I'm saying.
He's a nice guy, but he's very like. The best way to put it is like that military like he's always at attention. That we're going back to stiff. He's always like rugged. I don't know.
I would rather, and you know what? Maybe it comes down to I would rather watch The Rock in Fast and Furious 1,000 times before I'd watch Vin Diesel again. Vin Diesel fucking sucks. This is the only thing he can do. That's why he's milking the living
I was just about to ask how you think of Cena in it, but you haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen that one yet. So, yeah, for this next week, I've got to watch number fucking 7.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so...
I'm not even going to write notes next time. I'm just not going to bother.
I can't...
You're killing dead bodies. Wait, dead bodies would be dead.
Yeah, so you're not killing dead bodies. Maybe chopping
up dead she's bodies. Not doing anything wrong. Could be one of your kids.
Man's got to eat.
Could be one of your kids, not the dead body, but
yeah, this one was a step down. I think right now for me, Fast and Furious 5 is the pinnacle. It doesn't have the fun of Fast and Furious 2, but they took things less seriously.
The fun of 2, but 2
is too fast, too furious, and Brian's having fun of that. With this one, Brian Walker thinks he can act. Someone told Brian Walker he can act, and that's a lie. Because there's too many scenes where he's like, dumb. Besides, gotta have a father, dumb. Do what I'm gonna do. It's like, shut the fuck up. And just have that happy dummy look that you have.
Just be fun and dumb. Yeah.
Nobody has that in this movie.
Fun, dumb, full of
I called them I called them Token Black and rap name. Tyrone and Ludacris. I kept on referring to them as Token Black and rap name.
Tyrese.
They're so... Oh my goodness, the comedy from these guys,
I like it.
It's so unfunny.
It's very much like the comedy that they put in like Transformers from the two little Transformers,
the two racist Transformers.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and you know what, dude? Like clearly,
and that continues through every movie.
Clearly, there is an audience for this, but it is not me because it's just fucking terrible. I'm
Rob isn't happy unless your movie is appearing in the screening room.
Right. Now you know it's going to be there next week. Fucking Fast and Furious.
I'm going to pay for it to be there.
But yeah, definitely a step down from number 6. Or sorry, from number 5. So I'm hoping number 7 will be better.
It is a step down, but it was good. It was fun.
I have a sneaking suspicion, don't know for sure, because I have purposely avoided anything I could learn about number 9. But I know Fast and Furious 8, called The Fate of the Furious, has a submarine in it, and they're all racing near a submarine because that's on the cover art in Plex. So I'm hoping that is at least fun. But but we'll have to see because maybe they might do it like this stupid tank where I was just like, whatever, tank.
Yeah.
So
Something happens in 7.
whatever, who cares? So yeah,
Do me
Fast
a
and
favor.
Furious 6 is a thumbs down.
Do me a favor and don't look at Reddit.
I usually all I look at on Reddit. Well, we're not going to talk about what I look at on Reddit.
He's still looking at what's her name's boobs from last episode. CJ Perry.
CJ Perry. Lana Jugs, I believe is her name.
It's not her name, but
all right.
Lana, yes.
So what's next for the net? You know what? I haven't talked about tits this entire time. I don't think.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. You ruined it just now.
But it took 25 episodes for me not to have like tits.
I kind of made it happen. So, I'm going by memory. You tell me.
Yep.
My notes are right there.
Oh. Should I? Do you want me to read off?
No, just the ones for next episode.
God
Episode
damn it.
26.
You had a lot of notes for Too
I
Fast and Furious.
did.
Why don't you do the fucking notes for episode 7? For
I did it this
Fast
time. You read your own.
But you do yours, and I won't read mine because
Okay.
my notes for Fast and Furious 7 are going to be the exact same thing as Fast and Furious 6.
Probably.
All right.
I hate Gal Gadot. She's not in this, Rob.
Episode 26. What If? Episode 1, which
Which
comes
is
out
big.
August 11th, right?
And the thing that I'm excited about with these is that we're going to get... It makes more sense now that we have the Kang's storyline going on. If you've watched Loki...
I have not.
Watch Loki.
You know what?
Especially before What
I've
If.
heard mixed reviews about Loki. I've heard some people say
Then they're wrong.
It's great, and I've heard other people say like you could pass this one. It's not worth it.
Okay, essentially you have to watch it.
Oh my god.
No, if you're following along, if you want to be along with the canon and the how things are turning into this big Phase 4 storyline,
All right.
you have to watch it.
I did see
It's the
most important thing.
introduction of the
Phase
main
4.
bad guy of all of Phase 4.
Is it? It's not going to be fucking Loki again, is it?
No, and now I can't say anything about.
God damn it!
But before you watch What If, I don't know how much they will. I can't explain until you watch Loki.
Fucking Loki. Now I need to. So I got to finish the Bad Batch and then start Loki.
I was already looking forward to What Ifs, all the episodes of What If. What If is basically Marvel canon, but changed to saying like, what if Captain America? If for the first episode, what if Agent Carter becomes Captain America?
Ooh. They
That's all
already
I'll
did
say.
this in DC. It was called fucking Red Sun.
Yes, it's a great.
Red Sun was a great comic.
That is a great
Comparison.
Yeah.
You know who's not in Red Sun? That bitch Gal Gadot.
So once you watch all of Loki, you can tell me next week, and we will discuss it with What If, along with Fear Street #2. No, I'm kidding.
I was gonna say I don't see that in here. But no, the other thing we're gonna watch, Fast 7. Great. But one that I am one of the very few movies this year. I think there's only 2.5 in total this year that I've been super fucking hyped for. One's been pushed to next year, but Dune. Super fucking hyped for Dune.
That'll be in October or November.
I thought they pushed it to next year, but
Oh,
it
I wouldn't
keeps
be
on
surprised.
changing.
It looks good. They released a trailer recently, so new one.
Ghostbusters Afterlife
Yes.
looks.
Yes.
See, I think they
Adam Savage just announced that he is doing YouTube videos of him on set talking about the different aspects of the movie.
My problem with the trailer that we've seen so far, and maybe it was just a bad trailer, but I feel like they forgot the comedy that's supposed to be in these movies.
I think there's going to be some, but it's like I don't think it's going to be like the first movie where it's like
It's
based
kinda what
on
I-
SNL
what I like,
comedy.
though.
You're not getting it. You're getting Stranger Things meets Ghostbusters.
That's Stranger Things was fine, but it's fine in Stranger Things. I trust Jason Reitman as a director.
They're just going with a different look.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't jerk it that hard. Jesus.
Just do a gif of that.
That's going to be some good meat.
Tenderized.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be bad because I trust Jason Reitman as a director, but I just wish there was more comedy in my comedy film.
But we don't know yet.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It could just been the trailer played it that way.
But the cinematography is definitely along the lines of Stranger Things rather than old school Ghostbusters.
Which is a bummer because, like I said, Stranger Things looks good to be Stranger Things. I don't want to fucking see it and everything. Also, that kid Finn Wolfdog or whatever the fuck his name is, that kid, him and that other one, Timothée Chalamet, they have the most punchable faces I think I've ever seen.
You can't talk about punching kids on our show.
Punch that little fuck right in the face and then grab his fucking hair.
Nope.
Throw him down that goddamn pit.
So,
and the other one, and this I am so goddamn psyched for. I love James Gunn. Love the Suicide Squad.
This is the big one we're going to focus on.
Gives me a monster erection. So does John Cena. So does Idris Elba.
Yeah, the whole cast.
Dude, it looks like it is. And what I'm so happy to hear. Like,
did you hear Gal Gadot's in it?
Hopefully they fucking kill her. Early reviews. It's the highest rated Rotten Tomatoes DC movie ever. Thank fuck.
So over 20.
Right, yeah. It was not a hard bar to go over 25.
Like, wait, you're talking about over Joker? Your neighbors are pissed. You're talking about over Joker and over Joker?
Was Joker considered a DC movie? That Joaquin Phoenix one?
It's DC.
I never watched it. I don't care too much for it.
They never specifically said if it's canon or not, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know if Batman shows up. I don't know nothing about it.
And then there's what's his name? The guy who died as Joker.
Yeah, Heath Ledger.
Didn't die as Joker. That would be weird. Well, you never know. It sounded like a party.
Jared Leto's Joker was the one of the worst interpretations I've ever seen.
I disagree. I think if you really look at it, I think what he did on set, how he went about it, not good. His acting, I thought.
Leslie disagrees.
Yeah, pretty much. Anytime I talk, she has an opinion. Beating the meat.
She's feverishly masturbating up there to get you to shut up.
No, I really do think he did a really good job.
Didn't like it at all. It's funny, my sons, they're going to the Toronto Zoo today, but we were going for a walk.
Did you mail them?
Right. All right, boys, you're tiger food now. But we're walking, and Dexter turns to me and he's like, "Hey, what makes a good actor?" And I was like, "That's a great question." And I said, to me, a good actor is when you forget the actor and you see the character. You know what I mean? That's what makes a really, really good actor. And I said,
"Good luck, Fast and Furious."
John Cena is Dom Tortellini's long lost brother. That I do know because they spoiled that in the things. But so we were just talking about that, and I said, and he was like, he'd love to see like a bad one compared to a good one. I said, holy shit, what comes to mind? Let's watch the Suicide Squad from 2016 and then watch the new Suicide Squad so you can see here's a mediocre director. David Ayer's not terrible, but he's not great. A terrible cast, no direction, studio interference, fucked the entire thing up, and then a guy who has a vision that he believes in. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I feel like David Ayer did have a vision that he believed in, but it just got so mired and fucked. And what's funny is it got fucked by Guardians of the Galaxy, and then they give the Suicide Squad to the guy that made the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, let's just put it this way. John Cena's character in the movie has already got an HBO show being made about him.
Really? The Peacemaker does? Holy shit, That's crazy. But I mean, this thing is going to make fucking oodles of cash, and you're going to see a shit ton of Suicide Squad start coming on an HBO Max and stuff like that. And it should.
I think HBO is trying to do their own like Marvel situation that Disney's doing, and making characters based off of different properties.
I wonder,
in TV shows.
James Gunn has to be fucking riding high right now because he's got the best DC movie. He has a really good Marvel movie. One of the very good Marvel movies. So the guy must be so high in fucking dork culture right now.
So you have this homework plus Loki. Good luck. At least start watching Loki and see if you like it.
If I had to cut out one, what would I cut out?
You're not.
Fuck.
You kind of have to cut out Loki, but because you have this for homework.
No, because Loki's how many episodes are in Loki? Well, there's like 10. It's not fucking like 24 episodes. Like 10 episodes, right?
I think it's 10. It's either 8 or 10.
Watch the whole show.
It's either 8 or 10, but it's good.
Are they an hour long, each one?
I think so.
I'll suffer fucking through it. I'm sure my wife will hate to watch
You
Tom
like
Hiddleston over and over.
Marvel movies. It's better than the Captain America. No, Captain Falcon.
Captain Soldier Metal Arm.
Yeah, it's better than that.
I never watched it.
It's along the same. I would say it's better than WandaVision.
Really, eh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll have to try it out.
It's my opinion.
Argue with you when you're wrong. Are there any ghosts?
Well,
That's probably
that'll
why
be
you like it
our
so goddamn
honorable
much.
mention.
It's got fucking Sasquatches and ghosts.
What's on our list? Fast
and Furious 7,
Suicide Squad,
What If
and
Episode 1, and the Suicide Squad.
oh, we can't get rid of anything. No.
Yeah.
And what if? I mean, and Loki.
That's what I fucking said first.
and
and
Loki as an honorable mention, and no other honorable mentions because we can't fit it in that way.
I'm gonna finish the Bad Batch because it got like 3 episodes.
Well, you don't have to talk about it on the show.
Well, I want to.
Snap.
All right, everybody. You can follow us on social
I'm
media.
already doing the motions. Might as well dance.
But because videos,
No.
podcasts, because podcasts are movies,
Because moviespodcast.com.
music, and movies.
If you watch the show and you're one of our few viewers that watch this weekly and even like look forward to it, which
Not even my family looks forward to it. So
Yeah.
good on you.
it's
Good on you, mate.
comment. Take a moment and comment and say your piece.
Say your penis.
Peace.
Tell me to go fuck myself. That's what you should talk
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. That's
Gal
what,
Gadot's a fucking Oscar winner.
every time he messages me, I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Save it for the show.
Yeah. That's
No, you go fuck
That's
yourself.
the most quoted line I keep saying to him.
Just have it copied. All right. You can go to social media at becausemovies.com. Whatever. Feels better with that shit. So for Because Movies,
I'll just put the link.
for Because Movies, I'm Rob.
And I'm Phil.
Goodbye, everybody. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
What time is it?
7:44.
Well, that's not bad.
This one went forever. There were so many honorable mentions in this one.
You say forever, but we're usually done at like 8:05.